All right, ladies and gentlemen, you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Clerk.
New York Governor Cuomo's executive order dated March 7, 2020, and later amendments thereof of the temporary suspension and modification of New York state laws relating to the disaster emergency are updated by Governor Cuomo's executive order dated August 6, 2020. Public bodies are authorized to conduct meetings remotely so long as they allow the public to view or listen to such meetings, record the meetings, and transcribe such meetings within a reasonable time period. In-person attendance is allowed following CDC and New York State Department of Health guidance, which includes enforcing 50% facility capacity requirements, social distancing, the wearing of face masks, and heightened cleaning and disinfecting procedures. The public may attend the public hearing or join on Zoom using the link provided.
Roll call.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Here.
Trustee Thomas.
Here.
Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Wright.
Here.
Mayor Fair.
Here.
Mayor Fair.
Public hearing is to consider contracting with the Valley Stream Fire Department for fire protection services for the fiscal year beginning June 1, 2021 and ending May 31st, 2022. Do I have any comments from the board or comments from the public? Okay. Move the resolution.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee
Yes.
Tuffle.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli. Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Fair.
Yes. Need a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second. Roll call.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Mayor Fair.
Yes. All right, Alexa, that concludes the public hearing. No no's, thank you. We're going to forego doing the Pledge of Allegiance again and also reading the governor's executive orders again. We're going to forego those. We're going to begin the regular board meeting at 7:07 with roll call.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Here.
Trustee Thomas.
Here.
Trustee Grasso.
Here.
Trustee Wright.
Here.
Mayor Fair.
Here.
Resolution 072-21 minutes.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 073-21 tax cert settlements.
Move the resolution.
Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 074-21 assesses petitions 1 through 4-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 075-21 proposed local law 3-2021.
Move to resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 076-21 proposed local law 4-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 077-21 proposed local law 5-2021.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 078-21 award bids.
Move to resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 079-21 approved purchase of fleet edition for the Valley Stream Fire Department.
Move the resolution.
Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Tuffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 080-21, New York State Department of environmental conservation grant.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board?
Thank you, Ben.
Comments of the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 081-21, approved contract agreements.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 082-21, approve continuation of temporary special permit.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 083-21, install signage.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 084-21, approve Department of Recreation program expenses.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 085-21, use of village facilities.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 086-21, Unit 2 reclassification.
Move the resolution. Second.
Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Resolution 087-21, payment of audited vouchers.
I hereby move that the abstract of audited vouchers be paid as soon as same is approved by the majority. Move to resolution.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
At this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the regular meeting and go into executive session. Before we go into executive session for personnel litigation, we will remain open for public comment. If you notice at the back of your agenda, our meetings, 2 in June, 2 in July, and 2 in August are posted and scheduled. Motion to close.
Motion to close, please. Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Toffarelli.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Grasso.
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Mayor Fair.
Yes. At this time, we're open for public comment. Step up to the microphone. Michael, is that microphone on?
Yes.
Anita Langella, 50 South Cottage Street. I am here because I am about to apply for a permit that is not easily given. And ultimately, the yes or the no is gonna be by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So to quote the line, you gotta start from start, you guys are start. So this means a big deal to me. So I'm going to practice my pitch on you. I know. To me, this is huge. And I'm looking for feedback, particularly, how would you feel if I moved onto your block? Okay, here it goes. I was born on Lion Street, raised my family on South Cottage Street, and now that I got my 2 armfuls of Moderna, I am ready to embark on the next phase of my life, which is independent widowhood. Take that thought, put it aside, get back to it later. I own Integrated Electronics, 8 West Lincoln Avenue. For those of you familiar with the Rockaway Avenue Business District, I am the electronics store next to the Polish Deli, next to the drugstore, across the street from Ben's Crab Shack. Now, when my husband and his father originally started the business, we were on Gibson Boulevard. And we were there for many years until the landlords got divorced and we all got evicted so they could sell the land to pay off his wife to shut her up. By the time the eviction notices started, my in-laws were gone, it's my husband and I, so we said to each other, okay, we already live on top of Rockaway Avenue, let's move the business to Rockaway Avenue. Well, Rockaway Avenue is a lot more expensive than Gibson Boulevard was. To get a comparable rent, I take one of the smaller units that's just off the avenue on the side streets. And we've made it work, but it's small and it's tight. We are so tight that there's one spot where two people can't walk past each other at the same time. One person has to step to the side, which is probably why the fire marshal comes and visits me 4 times a year. You know, fire safety is a good thing. My son, who, by the way, Mr. Fair, was one of your technology students,
Sorry.
and you will be, no, seriously, you will be happy to know that he grew up to become an electrical engineer. Yes, he did. You taught him well, you should be proud. I'm not sorry, but proud. And so anyway, here we are. How do these two storylines come together? Well, I love my house, but I'm one person and it's too much for me. And quite frankly, I'm 67, my knees aren't gonna get any better. I need to downsize, and Integrated is desperate for more space. But commercial rent, well, you all know what commercial rent's like around here, and that's why I still am where I am. In fact, the only reason I'm still in business, and I'm 75% down from what I was before the shutdown, but we always kept it small, kept it tight, and I'm still paying my bills. I pay my rent, I pay my bills, but we really, really could use more space, and I need less space. So here's my idea. And I want to buy a 2-family house. This is where we get into the permit issue. If you're going to devote more than 20% of the habitable space in your house to a business, it needs a permit. So this is what I want to do. I want to put Integrated into the downstairs apartment. I want to put myself in the upstairs apartment. Yes, with a Stairmaster on the stairs because I'm going to need it. Now, I've talked to 2 people in this building, Jake and Nick. And Nick's smart. Nick asked me a lot of questions.
You and I, Nick, we're getting the props tonight.
Hi, Nick. Oh, and by the way, if this happens, you can pop in at any time. Not. Okay, this is what Nick asked. How many cars? The answer right now is 3. Mine, my son's, and the bookkeepers. Will there eventually be the 4th? Well, if business picks up to the point where my son is comfortable hiring a stock boy, yeah. Hopefully, I'd like to see it in a year, that he would have that much business going on, that he would need somebody else to help pull orders. But that's down the road. Right now, 3 cars. How many customers a day do you get? The answer is 0. I am a wholesaler. I am what was traditionally called a phone and a fax business. Although only the old school guys pick up the phone anymore. Everybody else, all they know how to do is type, which is why the computer is on my son's desk. But it's 0. Next, will you make any structural changes to the apartment the business goes into? The answer is no. I will not knock down any walls, add any walls. What it looks like now is what it will be. Next question. Now he said, well, he commented on, okay, you're a wholesaler. How do you get your product out the door? And the answer is UPS. I have a ground contract with UPS. They come every day. Next thing was more like a comment. I don't think you can get this with 2 kitchens. Oh, I'll pull every appliance out of the downstairs kitchen. You have my word. He can inspect. Look, truthfully, we've been eating lunch at our desks since we founded this business when my son was in the 1st grade. And the grandchild is now 6, and we're still eating lunch at our desks. I would just like to turn the kitchen into a break room. As far as the cabinetry, all you're going to see when you open those doors is stock, no food. I mean, I'll pull out the dishwasher, I'll pull out the refrigerator, I'll pull out the stove. It will no longer be a working kitchen. Next, this permit was intended for doctors and lawyers. Okay, how many patients a day do you think a doctor sees? How many patients a day do you think a doctor has to see in order to make a living as a doctor? Let me tell you how little my footprint is going to be. Now, I am right across the street from Garrett the mechanic at Step Up Auto. When he opens the bay door that faces Lincoln, I am literally right across the street from him. And after we were in there a couple of weeks, one day he comes over to me and says, I have a question. I don't see anybody go in your store. I see your girl go in and out at lunchtime. I see your son come in after school. But I don't see any customers. What do you do? And then at 5 o'clock, well, the UPS truck pulls up and all these boxes come out. So I had to explain to him what I do. I've had customers I've had for 30 years, buyers I've dealt with for 30 years. Never met them. Never met them. I mean, it's a minimal impact. And the last thing he asked me was exactly where you're planning to go, because ultimately this is going to be dependent on the type of block you want to go to. And you won't get final approval until you actually give the Board of Zoning Appeals an address. Well, in a perfect world, I would like to stay near Rockaway Avenue. I mean, the original reason I moved there, point blank, I thought 7 minutes down Valley Street Boulevard was close enough to my parents. But I've grown to like it. In fact, I've grown to love it. And I have a lot of faith in you guys that you're gonna get things moving. Whenever the COVID ends and this grant that we're all going for comes up, I have faith. I definitely, absolutely, positively want to stay within the confines of Lynbrook switching station, because when I moved from Gibson Boulevard to Rockaway Avenue, I had to change all my phone numbers because I went from Five Towns switching station to Lynbrook switching station. So in a perfect world, it's going to be definitely between the green and the train trestle, north of Sunrise Highway, up to approximately Maple Avenue, which runs parallel to Merrick, 1 block north of Merrick. But perfect house, oh, I'll go further north into 13. But absolutely positively, we're talking east of Central and north of Sunrise. That's it. What would you want to know if I was moving on your block?
Well, the most important thing would have to be, as Nick pointed out, or if you said it was Jake, maybe I missed that, is where is it going to be? If it's in the middle of a residential neighborhood, it's never gonna fly. If it's like where your business is now, one of those houses right next to it, there are plenty of areas that are zoned commercial. So the biggest question is where, before everything else is academic. You know, if it's in a regular residential neighborhood, it's never gonna fly.
Considering how Valley Stream is kind of a hodgepodge of commercial and residential, there's areas zoned for commercial and mixed use that you wouldn't think is commercial and mixed use. It's kind of difficult. I mean, you can say this entire block is residential, but it's right on top of, name the commercial strip. That's kind of difficult. So, I mean, I'm gonna try to not get too far off a commercial strip. And like I said, ideally, I'd like to be as close to the Rockaway Avenue as humanly possible. But, you know, it's ultimately gonna depend on what's up for sale.
Right.
Next question?
The only thing that I can mention to you is there are many two-family homes, whether they're for sale or not, of Hawthorne in that commercial area. And I believe you could take your phone number a little further than you think if you chose to move further. I think today the phone numbers you could transfer.
Okay, here's the thing.
I'm just letting you know, I mean, I'm not
Right,
gonna
I
get
know,
into debate
okay,
about it, but I know people that have done it.
Hawthorne is still north of Sunrise.
Yes.
That's doable. Because the switching station goes to Sunrise Highway. Five Towns starts on the other side of Sunrise, south of Sunrise. Now, in fact, yeah, Nick brought that up. Okay, here's the thing, when you move from one switching station to another and you want to keep your phone number, you pay for both the original call and then having the call transferred from the one switching station to another. My phone bill is already $450 a month, an average.
So,
Yeah.
that's good, you must do a lot of business with it.
I'm all phone. I am what used to be called phone and a fax. That's, I mean, when you think of phone and a fax, that's me. You know, like I said, it's more email today than fax. But, you're talking a significant increase in my phone bill. That's not moving south to Sunrise is not an option. It's just the same as moving to 30 is not an option.
So the smartest thing you did really was speaking to Jake and Nick. And if you have a property that you're interested in purchasing, that's when you gotta come back in and speak to Jake and Nick.
All right, $64,000 question. Now, when somebody puts in for a variance, every house within a certain radius of that house gets a little postcard.
Correct.
In all the years I've been an adult here, I only remember getting one, and that was somebody who wanted to go 6 feet. The house on Valley Stream Boulevard wanted to go 6 feet to the front of the house with the fencing. I looked at it and I said, well, that's up to the people who live on this block, not me. So if one of you got this card, what would you think? What would your thoughts be? I'm trying to get an idea if this would fly.
Again, it goes back to the same exact answer. I'm only one house off a commercial zone. House next to me is already a commercial. Two-family was commercial. The deputy mayor lives in a residential neighborhood. I don't think he'd be very happy having that right smack in the middle of a residential neighborhood. But I put words in his mouth, he can correct me. So if you're near, a commercial zone, like I am, it's not a big problem. If you're in a residential neighborhood, I think it's a big problem.
What would be the biggest problem?
I think the big question you're gonna get from the residents who receive that card probably just concerns a lot of, how much traffic is there gonna be, how much disruption is there to the neighborhood. And I think if you could answer those questions adequately to the.
Traffic, okay, traffic would be, I get UPS every day.
Yeah, I mean.
As far as a bigger truck, because I don't think anybody objects to that. The question is, do I get anything bigger than a UPS truck? And the answer is 4 times a year, Rapid Pack in Farmingdale. It's not an 18-wheeler. In fact, it's still a lot smaller than the truck that delivers food to the group home across the street from me. But it's a larger truck. And that comes 4 times a year, about once a quarter. Because I got a $500 minimum to place an order with them. As far as an actual truck delivery or a truck pickup, I can't even remember the last, and I'm not lying, I can't remember the last time I got one. They're very far and in between.
Yeah, I think any opposition from the neighborhood is gonna depend, like the mayor says, on the nature of the neighborhood already, and, I think you could answer those questions adequately. I think the neighbors will probably be inclined to, it all depends.
At this point, your biggest job is to find the location.
And if
Yes,
if
speaking
you
with us.
find a location, don't buy it. You want to take the contract subject to your getting the Board of Zoning Appeals approval that you're seeking so that you can escape from it. All right?
Oh, can I have a pencil, please? That is a good idea. Thank you for saying that.
So,
Legal counsel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, your
So what
attorney
is $50?
your attorney should also
I'll send you some-
recommend $50.
Okay,
Just, all you do is you make sure that the contract is subject to, you're getting your requested relief from the Board of Zoning Appeals and the Village of Village. That way, if you don't get the zoning relief, you can walk away from the contract rather than being locked into it. So speak to your attorney at the time who represents you on the prospective purchase of any property. So that person will know to do it.
That's what everybody says.
You don't want to.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's it, I don't wanna get stuck if the Board of Appeals says no.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you,
You're very welcome. Good luck.
Yes,
thank you. Okay. For that comment alone, I'm glad I came here. And thank all of you for your time.
Council,
That's it.
All right.
Further
now,
comments from the public? Comments from the public?
I know what you're talking about.
It will cost me more money.
All right, thank you for coming. Get home safely.
Oh, executive session.
Hold up, not adjourned yet. Come forward, please.
All right, okay. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm going to try to keep this short. My name is Nancy Camulaire. I reside on Albert Court here in Valley Street. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to give a special thanks to Supervisor Bill Hartig, also Steve Aquavella. I'm not sure if any.
They're both here.
Oh, hi, Steve. How are you? Bill Hartig and Robin as well, because as a matter of fact, one of my neighbors here, her name is Dorothy. Is it okay if she comes up?
Of course.
Dorothy comes up.
It's okay, doesn't matter.
All right.
Good evening.
Okay, this is my neighbor Dorothy, and we are here because we had a small incident that occurred, a small fire that occurred on Albert Court, one of the poles. It was an electrical fire that took place, and it was due to some branches. And that occurred around 4 in the morning, I believe, or 4:30. I had already left for work around 3:30 or so in that morning. So the fire occurred 30 minutes after. And thank God it didn't affect my home, which is the last house on Albert Court. And it was thanks to my neighbor here who sent me an email and notified me that something occurred and that I had to leave work around 9:30 that morning to go back home to make sure everything was okay.
Of course.
I believe I have pictures here. We had Bill Hartig, Steve was the person that I met, and Robin told me Steve will be on site. The supervisor Bill came on site, and we had a discussion, and they were able to assist me as far as getting some of the branches from my home, and I greatly appreciate that. But there's more work that has to be done as far as some of the branches that were removed. I have a picture here of what it kind of looked like, and Dorothy, feel free to. I believe there's one branch that I'm not sure who basically cut it, but it looks really bad. And I have to show you the picture because I don't think it's acceptable.
Bill, it's out of the Incorporated Village?
The street is out of the incorporated village, but it's up to our pipeline area.
Yeah, if you could just give me 1 second.
No problem at all.
Yeah, it was not that long. I have the picture here. This is what the branch,
We don't plow it.
This is what it looks like.
We don't pick up the garbage in Albert Court.
yes, please.
So it's privately owned street. Cedar Court's privately owned street.
Yeah.
That's why I was curious if, where it was.
Okay.
So Bill, the subject that she's showing us, is that a pipeline property or Albert Court property, or what was that?
If I can see that.
Sure, come on up.
Yes. I believe this was done by PSCG. Yeah. Hi, how you doing?
Yes, PSE&G came, topped a bunch of the trees, but
Right.
wouldn't touch anything else or any of the overhangs.
That's normal for them, yes.
Yeah, so, we took down some of, Steve Evans' guys take down.
Yes.
And we talked to the PSE&G guys and they took down a little more than usual. And then, we cleaned up the pipeline area.
Correct. and they did a great job with that. It's just that one particular.
So what's the
practice
story
you
with the
can see was-
existing bill? If you were there, I wasn't there, I don't know, obviously.
I'm sorry, what was the question, sir?
Is that on the pipeline property, on private property, our tree, whose tree is that?
That's our tree going from the pipeline property going
All of
over
them.
the private road.
Okay, so that's our tree?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know, Steve, is it something we can look at?
PSC&G made the cuts, they left all the branches on the floor there. We went and looked at the trees, and we had our inspectors inspect the trees. We did a little bit more than we normally do, cutting down some branches down and cut down an extra tree. The rest of the trees were deemed safe and unnecessary to come down at that point. So we did make we cut back some branches, not all, but it was all dead stuff that we needed to cut back.
You wanna look at this picture, Steve?
Yeah, I was there, I know, this.
And also-
So that,
I think they want this tree removed, this last tree.
Yeah.
I mean, are you just looking to get it removed, or you want more trimming done?
No,
They
it's
don't
just
really-
that, it's just more
Can I say
trimming.
something?
Of course.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry.
No problem at all,
I work at night.
no problem at all.
Okay, the reason I'm here tonight is to say, like, my neighbor Nancy said, first, I would like to
That's the
take,
lines that the electric is going straight through this tree,
Right,
and that's the stuff that we can't get up to cut.
because there's an electric line in it.
Yes.
Okay, so now I get the answer. It's got an electric line running through, we can't cut. That's what I want to find out.
it's not only that tree, I'm sorry, it's not only that one. There's two more trees. You can see, okay? And on top of it, I was very disappointed about, what Steve told me. I approached, one of them who was working, and I was telling him what happened. And unfortunately, I was not pleased about what he said to me. So we are doing us a favor by cutting the branches. I don't think it's fair. And when I asked him, why do you mean you are doing us a favor? Oh, because it's private. I said, no, but tax money is not private because we're working hard to pay the taxes. And I was very disappointed and trying to say, back and forth, but that wasn't pleasant at all. We all working hard to make our own money to pay our taxes.
That's true.
If we couldn't afford to live in Holly Street, I don't think, we'd be able to pay taxes.
Right, there's only certain things we can do. If there's on private
understand,
property,
but
we
there's-
can't touch it. If there's electrical lines in it, we can't touch it. I mean, it's very simple. I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Those words never came out of my mouth, because I was speaking to her most of the other time, and she can definitely say that I never said we're doing you a favor. That never came out of my mouth.
I'm sorry, when you
And
came
she
with your.
knows that. So,
I have everything on.
okay, that's
Sorry.
anyway, what PSC&G did, that was it. It was done and over with. We came back the next day to assist them, which we definitely did. She was more than happy with what we did. In fact, she asked me, can I come down and I told her when to come to speak to you guys.
Right.
She was more than happy with the work that was done. We even cleared the whole side of her house. She has more trees in front of her house. They are village trees that there is nothing wrong with them, nothing wrong with them. What the picture she showed you just now is what PSC&G did. to
Right,
that
it's what
tree.
Phil said with the
Not what we
electrical
did.
lines going.
There's electric lines going through all of those trees that
Right.
PSC&G has to take down. And we were there asking them and they would not take them down. So right now it's out of our hands, nothing more we can do. The trees are healthy, they're not in any danger. And they were both explained that by me, by him, and everyone else that was there. The tree crew was there, we had our full inspectors there, everyone looked at it, and everyone explained to them that the trees are healthy, and that was it, our job was done. In fact, PSC&G left a huge mess that we
Right,
cleaned up.
that's the over and above. It wasn't
Over
our
and above,
business to
no
clean up
doubt.
PSC&G, but we did it
We cleaned
because
up
you live
there,
in Valley
did
Stream and
huge
because we care about our
Yeah.
residents.
Truckloads of tree work that we cleaned up.
And the PSE&G line clearance supervisor that was on scene deemed what PSE&G did to make safe the electric lines around the trees. And now there's clearance, they go through, but there's clearance from the electric line to the tree.
And he said his job is only to clear his lines and that's it, nothing else. And they left.
Right.
But I'm sorry, we still have, it's much to do, more to do. It's very dangerous. It's that this is the same thing, like from the previous, though, of course, what we did a good job, but at the same time, it wasn't complete. And we still, we are very concerned because God forbid something happen again, what will be happen? The whole house going to burn down? I don't think it's fair. I think we have more things to do. We
The
like
tree
to
went
share.
on fire because of the power lines struck PSC.
No, what I was about to add though is, it may not be fair, but our hands are tied. The call on this one is PSE&G, unfortunately. And they're the ones who determine where those lines are going. And for safety reasons, these guys can't go anywhere near
We
that.
understand that, yeah.
Well,
But when I
that
call them,
lawsuit, but it's, if somebody's going to run with this, it's gotta be PSE&G if they're gonna do something. And I just wouldn't bet on PSE&G being as civil as the workers from the village were, who went above and beyond, and quite frankly, you guys are gonna have to pay for the, I'm just teasing. No, but again, it's
Well, I
critically
called-
important to
I called
understand.
them. I got PSCP 2 weeks ago, they said, no, this is not a job.
It's-
This is not.
I know what you're talking
That's
about,
what they
but,
said.
please, ladies, you have to understand that our jurisdiction is severely limited, okay? And they meaning any crew that goes above and beyond what our jurisdiction has, I always say, guys, don't do it. So you can blame me, because the risk is that we're assuming responsibility for something that we don't have responsibility for. So I always tell everybody who works there, don't you dare do anything more than is required by law. I know it's tough sometimes to say no to people, but still, you gotta understand something. God forbid they had left it in a condition which somebody claimed that a limb fell on a car, hit a poor child, whatever the story may be. The first question would be, well, who's the last one who's working on that tree? And if it turns out it was outside of our jurisdiction, that these were the guys working on it, we just assumed a liability for something we had otherwise no liability for. So I gotta watch the reason why the taxes are reasonable is because I tell these knuckleheads, don't do it. They do it anyhow, but don't do it, no more, that's it.
But I have one more thing.
Sure.
So we need another light pole, like a street light on that Albert Court. We only have one. And due to the fact that I leave my house at 3 in the morning, there's only
Is that
one
within
pole.
the jurisdiction?
No.
It's in
It's
the
the
private
private-
road.
I'm sorry?
Albert Road is a private road.
Private road,
We don't-
yes, yes,
Their
yes.
mail doesn't go
private
in there, the
road.
garbage doesn't go in there, the plows don't go in there.
Oh, yes,
It's gotta
yes,
be a
yes.
homeowner.
The garbage does go, we
They-
do
they-
need
they-
the
When you buy a
plow.
house, it's a homeowners association, the property owner.
That's,
It's a mess.
It's
a
not
mess.
good.
And we have to pay for everything, everything.
but,
We don't have the snow plow.
ladies, the important thing to understand is it's not our road.
Correct.
But how do we go beyond?
There should have been in your deeds,
Has to be.
a homeowners association of some mechanism
Pseudo court.
that allows the persons living on that particular private road to come together to get done what has to be done. Something your attorney should have explained to you when you purchase the property, this is not on a public street.
No.
Yeah,
It's a
but we've
private
been
street.
living there for
Well,
over 5 years.
More
It's
than
been like
But
more
we-
than
but
20
again,
years.
Yes.
Yeah, again, we don't own the street. Period, the end. No further discussion, we just don't own it. So for them to go out doing work on a private street, I would tell them to stop it. What's done is done for the past, but stop it, because you might be taking a responsibility that we don't otherwise have. And we just, again, unfortunately, you gotta go into your deeds, take a look at your deeds, speak to the lawyers who closed on the houses for you. They should have explained it all to you at the time that you purchased the property, that this is not a private, this is not a public street. And that means if it's a private street, there's certain things that you have to do for yourself, meaning everybody on the street, that is not gonna be provided for by the municipality, Village of Valley Stream.
But what about the light pole? That's something.
That's, again, you have to speak to PSE&G on that, right?
Yes.
And I can tell you what they're gonna probably say, since it's a private street. You're not gonna like what I'm about to say. They'll do it, but they'll tell you what the cost is, and they're gonna bill you back,
You can't do it.
probably in the tens of thousands of dollars. Right? That's
And Tino.
PSE&G, that's not the village.
what I don't understand is,
They,
what I don't understand
two of
is,
them
when you,
didn't wanna-
when you call,
didn't wanna do it.
and you call, speak to them, they said, you know, they will be more than happy to talk about, but however, this is the town on charge. And when we call them, when we speak to you guys, it's like, it's not.
I remember when the street was developed all those many years ago. PSE&G doesn't know what they're talking about, let me tell you. In terms of the jurisdiction of the Village of Valley Stream, they don't know. Just guaranteed, they don't know. Private street, responsibility is
They have to deed
the
that road.
property owners on that private street, individually and amongst one another. That's how you make the decision. And you gotta get all your property owners in there and say, hey, look, we need one more street light. It's gonna cost us $20,000. How many houses?
Might be close to that, but no. Homeowners are agreeing to deed the road to the
Same
city.
thing goes for
It's a lot of-
repair, curb repair, sidewalk repair, so.
Albert
That's
Court is
not like-
what, 10 houses?
Privately, yeah.
Five?
So we just
That's a lot of
need
money.
an extra pole, and usually when it snows, the ground,
Yeah, see, well, we were just discussing, I was talking with the deputy mayor and trustee Grasso. We had it come up before, we have a couple of roads like this in the village.
Okay,
And the people who live in that street have to all agree, have to come here and give the road to the village, deed the road to the village. And if it becomes a village road, we then have to plow it, we then have to pick up garbage, we can then put a street light on. But it's not our road. I said, like I just explained to deputy mayor, it's like me going up his driveway and putting a light in his driveway. We can't do that. It's private property. Albert Court is private property. We're not allowed to go in there. It's out of our jurisdiction.
Even if all the property owners came together to give us a street, it would have to meet certain minimum requirements.
Correct. We're
I-
not gonna take a
I don't know if it does or does
street
not.
Things like that, yeah. We happened with Albert, with Theodore Court, remember? And they couldn't agree, and they went back and forth arguing about it, and the homeowners couldn't agree. And we said, as soon as you guys can agree,
Right.
but the best analogy is like condos, co-ops, apartments that are individually owned that share a parcel. You guys, same thing, individually owned homes that share a parcel. Number one, and number two is the best analogy is that Albert Court is a private road. We can't go in there and put a street light. It would be like driving up Trustee Tuffarelli's driveway and putting a street light by his garage because it's dark at night. That's his private property. We can't do that. Albert Court's not ours. It's almost in some respect to be a little vague. It's like trespassing. We can't go on that property and provide village services.
I'm sorry, okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that, but, we have another issue. We keep getting tickets. Okay, like my, we have like, 1, 2, 4, I have like 4 cars at home. My car and my kid's car, and my neighbor's car. And is it a private house? I mean, I'm sorry, not house, like private road, right? Why we keep getting tickets for it? And I was happy, like 2 weeks ago, I believe, I went to court and I spoke to the code enforcement.
Right,
He's very nice guy. And I explained it to him. He said, you understand, and he dismissed the ticket. He said he would.
Yeah, you're not supposed to get tickets on the.
That's what I told the officers, but we keep getting the
No,
tickets.
you can't. They can't.
is the person new?
We don't know. We keep getting tickets over and over.
No, they can't get tickets.
Maybe the officer.
Nick fixed it, right? Nick, code enforcement's not supposed to give tickets on Theodore Court or Albert Court. It's private roads.
I believe in.
That was a mistake, and that's why,
They
yeah,
shouldn't-
you should not,
take
you
it.
should not have gotten those. That was a mistake. That should not have happened. And correctly, Mr. Casano fixed that. Because that's a private street. That's like parking in your driveway. So that's one of the benefits, that you can actually park on Albert Court because it's not a village road.
Okay.
So basically, Mayor, you're basically telling us we all, as the people that live on the Albert Court, have to come here.
Right, that would be council.
You can, if everybody were to agree, everybody who owns a home on the street,
Yes.
that they would be willing to dedicate the street to the Village of Valley Stream. There's a
Okay.
protocol that has to be gone through.
Okay,
And one of the protocols is that from an engineering and other perspectives, it has to meet the minimum requirements. I quite frankly don't know if that private street does not meet the minimum requirements. I just don't know.
okay.
Usually when they develop like that, oftentimes the developer doesn't build it to municipal requirements for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that means that the people who come in and start to each parcel in turn has a problem. Mike's over there laughing because he knows what I'm talking
I
about.
remember the zoning hearing.
Come again?
I remember the zoning hearings.
Oh, then you know what my position was in those cases.
Right.
You're nuts, don't do it.
It is definitely a unique situation, and you're not the only one, there's a couple of other roads like that in the village. But as I said, the best analogies I can give you are condos and co-ops, where multiple people sit on property that the village doesn't own.
Right.
Okay.
You know, your main street, in that case Cedar Street, is ours, but
Yes,
Albert
that's
Court is
correct.
like your driveway. We have no jurisdiction there, that's why the tickets were dismissed, you never should have gotten those, that was
Who's
an
doing
error.
snow removal now?
They gotta pay for it,
That's the problem we have.
they gotta pay for it.
Well, this is what I'm
Usually
saying, well,
social
do you do it as a group or each person, I mean,
Each person, and I'm
Sort of, you know,
Theodore
we as
Court
a
used to do it as a group,
yeah,
they always
we
used to
should
chip
have
in
some
That's
sort of-
good.
and contract a service.
the best way of doing it is get everybody on the block to agree that whatever the cost is going to be, there are 5 homes, whatever, we'll divide it by 5 equally so that everybody
Sometimes we
pays
do,
equally.
sometimes we do, and sometimes we just let it go, you know,
Yeah,
Should do it all-
$500,
should do it all the
$600, like,
time.
okay, do it, we don't have to, you know.
so the protocol, if we all want to get together, is it someone we have to meet, schedule an appointment?
You would,
Meet
what would
with you?
happen is if you had everybody sign on board,
Yes.
just let the village know, I'll get folded into that at that point in time as the village attorney. And then I'll have a million questions I'm going to ask to see whether or not we're in a position to take the street. If, for example, everybody wanted to give us the street, and I turned to the mayor and they said, Mayor, it would take $500,000 to bring it up to requirement, I'm just thinking of numbers. Then I would say, don't go spending the money, I'm sorry, don't, because that's being picked up by everybody else in the village as a practical problem. As a practical proposition for a problem that's localized just for 5 property owners. So if you can get everybody pulled together who wants to do it, alert the village, and then I'll be pulled in and I'll work with you as best I can.
It's definitely unique.
It
So
is
with
unique.
whom- With whom do I speak with?
You can alert.
I
neighbors first.
Call the village clerk,
Okay,
Mr. Hunter?
okay,
and then he'll get the ball rolling.
okay, that's.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, gentlemen.
for
You're
your
welcome.
time. I very much
Very well.
appreciate it.
That's like I said.
Right. Any further comments from the public? Okay, thank you for coming, get home safely.
We have a executive session now.